New stream. Hey. Microphone check, checky, check, 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 check. Whoa, I've got the thingy. Are we back? Are we winning? Oh, what's going on today? Rubbish. All right. Let's wait for people to trickle on back in here. Welcome everybody again. Hit the like button on your way in. This will help the algo somehow. Hey, we're doing 2 streams in one day. Wow, look at that guy. Right. I'm just going to follow this move. It looks like we're going down further, aren't we? Right. Jumpy Cakezilla. I'll just wait for people to come back in here slowly. So sorry about that, everybody. Let's make sure we are all back to that works. Good. All right, I'm just going to get into it and I'm going to do the update, the live update thingy. 27 people back in the chat. All right, I'm going to do the recording, the Bitcoin video recording, and then we shall continue. So, hello everybody, welcome to today's Bitcoin update. And yeah, Bitcoin is not looking too good right now. It has been just one of those situations over the past week. I mean, throughout most of June, we had a decent move up, almost came out to take out these highs. We did do it on purpose. We didn't do it on spot, which has generated a lot of liquidity up here. But we have then subsequently seen a rotation all the way back down to what I would consider the low of this local range, but also just right in the middle of the larger range that we have right now. So if we do just take a look at the overall range that we're trading in, which is very, very simple. You just take it from that first low that we put in all the way back. My God, we've wasted like how long in this range? We've not wasted it, but just insane that we've just been in this range since March. And we're right there in the middle, slap bang in the middle of this range from that first low we put into that first high we put in. We haven't yet made another higher high We have made a lower low on this. So within this range, you've had a deviation down here. We had that deviation. We had a rotation that came all the way back up to the high, but it did just reject at that monthly level that we have from back in April and the value area high of this range. And we are now just consolidating right in the middle. So, of course, for the last few days, we have been there at the POC. We've just been shopping around that POC, little moves up into high time frame levels, take little liquidity here and there, news-based events, and then immediately retracing that on every single occasion, including yesterday, where we did have more bullish news that would say risk on for markets. We had the Nasdaq making new highs, we had the S&P 500 making new highs, but Bitcoin unable to do so. And because we're seeing that weakness within Bitcoin, we have also seen that weakness just roll over into the altcoins, which are just bleeding lower and lower and lower. So we have right now, we have a situation where we have legacy markets doing this, they'll range and then they'll go up, and then they'll pull back and then they'll go up, and they'll pull back and then we'll go up. We have Bitcoin that's just doing this, just sideways, 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 sideways. And then we have altcoins that are just doing this, doing this, doing this. And it's causing some very, very, very bad sentiment. This being probably the worst I've seen the market in a long time, and the hardest I've seen the market in a long time, because every time we get a move up, it just isn't sustained, and you're getting like one opportunity, and it maybe lasts seconds, minutes, in order to go short again. And then we're spending so much time down at these lows that people are then like, well, the only trade you can get into, if you're waiting for, like, if you're not just on it and executing in that very moment, the only kind of trades you can get into are longs, right? Because we just settle on the lows and then we go pop, pop, and it's like up and then straight back down again. And it's just creating this cycle of long positions entering. There's a move up that takes out any shorts that are within that, and then they get stopped, and then they get stopped, and then they get stopped. So we're not really seeing that sustained price action or a sustained move for any longs. And I think that's quite evident with what we see in the CVD and what we're seeing right now. And we'll go on to that in just a minute. But from a technical perspective, yes, we are still in the middle of the range. It is still support. And we've seen before, right? The market just loves to keep people second guessing, to create that panic, to create those, just that bearish sentiment that, oh my God, we're really going to drop here. It's really not looking good. And then seemingly out of nowhere, but there is technical reasons for it, we just get those moves. And this is similar to what we saw back at the beginning of May, where we had that bounce and then we just kept chopping, 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 and then we pop. It was a lot easier back then because we'd had a deviation here. The problem with where we are right now is because we're in the middle of the range, a very, very risky place in which to start opening positions. And you'd have to say the better value for any long positions would be if we do see further downside, because then you're extending away from where there is just a lot of balance. It's a very crowded trade, and that extension down a little bit back down towards these lows would at this stage make a bit more sense if you are looking for longs. So it is a situation now where I have been compounding onto my long positions within the low of this range, but I am very much open, and I have been for a long time, that we rejected the value area high. Of course, this value area has been moving up, so overall it's okay. We had a value area that was all the way down here, and we can show this from the range itself. If I show the developing point of control, it had that move down. We didn't get the extension below, and then we've just been, okay, we've moved up, but we haven't been able to see extension above there, and now we're just consolidating around that POC once again. We may get a situation today where this POC shifts back down, towards this like 66, 67, 66, 800, 67K area. So if that happens today, that will be something to pay attention to. This is on spot. Of course, within perpetuals, our point of control is still lower. So we haven't really filled that balance up here, and we haven't really got that acceptance of price within a lot of the perps markets of these higher prices. What we also see with our developing value area is we had initially price just rotating between value area, high, value area, low. Okay, and then was moving down as the value area is moving down, and now we're seeing that value area start to creep back up again. So we are getting rejections from there, but we are seeing this creep back up. That does mean that if there is a rotation back down to value area low, that would be a good opportunity in which to look for those long positions, and there is confluence down there, with it being, of course, a 1 day gap on the chart. I'm going to move off this. You have this confluence again, a gap on the daily time frame. All right, this being the only real imbalance that there is left within this entire range now. And if we're looking internally, and if we're not looking at taking out these highs or these lows, okay, this being the one remaining imbalance, then if you go down onto the 4 hour, it is also there. Okay, so the daily gap, the 4 hour gap, essentially exactly the same levels that we're looking at. It is between these lows that we put in on the 16th of May, which are there at 64,500. Okay, and the support that we had, which was previous resistance, okay, it hasn't yet flipped into support. We haven't tested into that at this stage, but that support that is there at 63K. Now, from a 4 hour perspective, okay, we did have this wickless 4 hour candle that did get tested back into before we saw that continuation back above, but there is still imbalance down there. There is still an area on the chart that the market could seek to clean up. If this was really, 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 really bullish, we wouldn't have headed down there. We would have probably just held this POC, got that continuation to new all-time highs. And the plan for myself realistically was, I thought, and the plan I had was that we would see a move up and then probably come back down for these, because we'd seen deviation below the range. I would have liked to have seen a deviation at the highs, and then I do still remain with that bias that we probably see a fairly sideways summer. I'm not expecting this to go crazy to like 80K, 100K during the summer. I think it's more likely we see that in Q3, Q4 of this year. So the main plan was for deviation up here and then to come back into the range, but we haven't seen that yet. So if we're holding here, that idea could still happen. We could still get the move up. We could still get the move down. It's just extending and extending and extending. Now, if we do get a drop down into here, in a way, it's even more bullish. Because if we do drop down, if we do clear up all of this stuff that's below within this range, then there's no reason why we need to then really remain in the range. So if we do drop down, this could go to new all-time highs and get a cleaner break. And then we've got to be mindful of that. So although we've got this short-term pain, and that's not going to be nice to trade for a lot of everybody right now. And if we do drop down here, the carnage that's going to create within altcoins is going to be pretty crazy. But right, we this in a way would be a little bit more bullish. We've cleaned up the range a little bit more. We've spent more time within this range, and then we can be looking at a cleaner break afterwards. So that's kind of where we are within this whole range. Okay, we've just been at the same point for quite some time now. Now, locally, if we have a look at here, daily open, what we've seen so far today is very simply, okay, we had that move back down, which took out some local lows, testing in towards this anchored VWAP, which is from this 57, 58K low that was put in back at the beginning of May. So 6 weeks ago at this stage, holding this anchored VWAP for now. and has had a little bit of a bounce, but it's not looking great. We've seen this move back up into the single prints here. We haven't seen any kind of strength from the market. We are seeing that within legacy markets, they're continuing today so far. Today, they are pulling back, and Bitcoin is pulling back with it, not as much. All right, so it is holding here, but it's just very sideways. There's not a whole lot to be really looking at. So if we are looking at where price can go from here, the probability at this stage, because we have just been in this downtrend for the majority of the week. Here we put in this high back on Friday of last week. We make a low, we put in a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, although it came very close to it. We've not yet made that lower low, so we can see that continuation today to take us down into that 64K zone. So be prepared for that situation. If we do see strength, and I think strength will be slightly difficult to catch, because each time we've seen this move, okay, we had a very, very bullish CPI read that gave us that big move up. Okay, that immediately got retraced. We had the news candle that was down here that got immediately retraced. We then yesterday had our daily open. We had that move down during Asia session, back down towards these lows, and then on 2 occasions yesterday, testing into that daily open, rejecting, and now we find ourselves going lower again. So bears are in control, short positions are in control. However, as we've seen with Bitcoin, the reversal can come from more or less anywhere, and it can happen quite quickly. And when we do start to see that shift in market structure, it could lead to a rather rapid reversal. We've seen how quickly sentiment can change just over the course of these last 2 weeks. All right, everyone being uber bullish when we're up at these highs, but it gave an opportunity for a short position, immediately rewarded those shorts. Once again here, another opportunity for a short position, immediately rewarded those. And then on each occasion where we've had even some slight bull case where everyone maybe FOMOing in at the highs, immediately reject. Yesterday, you got that bounce during the PPI, a really positive read, really dovish within the PPI, and the legacy markets responded accordingly with that. But then once again, we continue to go lower. So it's just significant weakness that we're seeing across the market. Now, if we have a look at where we have basically, we'll look at the liquidation levels, and it is there is a lot of liquidity above. All right, but we can't be expecting that to be taken until we see some strength from the market itself, and until we do start to see that reversal. We do have CVD that, especially from perps, all right, when you compare it to the lows that we put in back in the 1st of May, that is continuing to just bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed. And spot isn't as bearish, okay? Spot markets, okay, you put in a low back in May, you come down, you've made a higher low on the CVD, you're making another higher low of the CVD here, but perpetual is just continuing to bleed and bleed and bleed, and just shaking out a lot of participants from the market. Even locally today, we have this scenario where, right, we have seen, I mean, actually today so far, more so like spot selling, but, at least locally within this last move, okay, we can see that there was a bit of a move up that happened this morning, early on this morning, that was mainly perps driven. We've then seen that continuation from spot, and at least here within the last few hours or so, it is looking like we're seeing some more absorption here, and then that could be giving us a bounce that at this stage you'd just be looking to take out some highs, see how that gets on, see if we can start to fill those single prints or even close above that, and to get that maybe get a little bit of a bounce going on. Now, if we look at the ETF, again, it's not all doom and gloom. I think long term we're looking okay here, and we've seen these days previously where we just consolidate, make everyone super bearish, and then it just pops. Yesterday, there were quite large, not huge, but there were outflows from the ETFs, and it did create this discount within the ETFs, which means that you would expect there to be more demand today when the market opens, because that is running at a discount. And what we also have is the spot premium right now, which is suggesting that the price of perps, people trading on futures, people trading on the perps market, are feeling the pain a lot more than what the spot market is. The bid is still holding there for now. However, we do need to be aware for sure that there is significant levels below that the market can trade into. Open interest has been relatively flat through the last few days, but when we've been getting these drops, it has been shaking out a lot of the OI. And so far, we are seeing that relatively flat here. So we're looking for a bit of volatility. We're looking for that move to give us some more confirmation of where this may be going next. And we are seeing, I think, what this choppiness has done really is to just drop that OI from what was very high levels to just like slightly high levels. So it's a mixed bag again, similar to how it was yesterday. We have a bit of a mixed bag. We're looking at an environment where we're going to be seeing negative funding in the market, where the spot bid is holding up relatively well, but we're in a downtrend and we have to trade according to that. So we're holding daily open here. What would make me a little bit more bullish, I think, is if we can see a move up towards, like, reclaim that 67,300 area that clears back through the single prints holding there. But then there is still a lot of stuff that we can work on above. There is the FOMC highs. If this can reverse and we can start to hold some support above this range, just the pull out of this, the like extreme low of this current range that we're at, then we could see that move higher. But bias for today remains, depending on what we see from the legacy markets, I'm thinking it is increasing the probability at this stage that we do see that move down before taking the highs to that 64K level, and then we consolidate there and see how things are looking after that. So obviously, things can change very quickly, could go up, could go down, could go sideways. It's one of those markets that's very difficult to call right now, and we just need to be able to react to the price action when it arrives. We need to be aware of the levels that are there. Where we are right now, there's not really a trade on. If it drops, that does give an opportunity for a trade. If it gets a bit of a bounce, once again, that does give an opportunity for a trade. So whilst we're just in the middle of the range, at the point of control, a bit of a no trade zone, we just have to wait and see what's going on. So yeah, I think that's probably everything I have to say with this update on Bitcoin. With the TPO, previous day point of controls and all of that, there is, if we just draw on our session volume profile, we can have a quick look on there, because I would imagine what we may see is we've got an MPOC up here. No. So I was thinking we may have seen some more volume, but even the MPOCs, of course, the one outlier of this is the big FOMC, the PPI CPI day, where we do have that 69 area that would be a target for this. So if we are to move, we're looking at quite a big move higher, but we've got to wait to see some strength for the market before we can even anticipate that. And yeah, we are just left with okay, there's balance here, there's balance here, there's a bit of a void in between that. And then if we're looking down, all right, from this point onwards, it is a move of, let's clean this chart up. We are looking at the clearer trade opportunities essentially being from this very point, 4% move up or a 4% move down. Which direction that's going to be, we will just have to wait and see. So on that note, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm going to continue on with the stream right now and see what you guys have to say. But have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye. Yeah. It's another one of those video updates where I just... we're so... here. So 50-50 here, isn't it? What's going on with the NQ? We still bleeding? Yep. Yep, 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 yep. What's chat saying? Stock adder, bro, I'm holding long. Could you guide me, please? Long from 67 to 22. I mean, like, where's your invalidation for that? And why are you long from 67 to 22? I can't of course I cannot give any financial advice. There is no financial advice on this video or in any of the content that I do. I am just a guy that talks on the internet. However, I would like to ask you the reasons for being long at 67,222. I mean, you're long from the low of the range, so it's okay. And the range is holding. And where your invalidation is for that, and what the reasoning behind the long is there. Because I mean, I'm in some longs, but I know the invalidation for those, and I know, yeah, I know where I'm prepared to be wrong on that idea, and I know how I will react if and when I am long on that idea. And that is basically understanding my invalidation and understanding that to lose a trade is not, it's not that bad, as long as you're not risking too much. Too much. What else is there? A major factor that I am keeping an eye on is the strength of the regional banks in the States. Failure will explode price. They are all near insolvent, important to track. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to see any I would be very surprised if we see any banks collapsing in an election year. Maybe next year once the election's done. Certainly. If, well, the thing is with the banks, right? I have a little bit of a thesis for that. I do believe we are in a bubble, and I do believe that the next 4 years are like the economy has been propped up to an extent. There is a recovery going on, but if there is issues with banks, I would be surprised if anything happened this year. You'd be looking at next year. If we were looking at a Trump presidency, right, I would have thought the stance from Trump would be, if banks are insolvent, let them fail, like fuck them, because that seems to be the kind of thing that he says. It's like, well, if you're insolvent, tough, right? Just, yeah, that's it. If there's like a Biden presidency again, then I think monetary policy may try and save those, which could extend the uncertainty, but then increase the pain when eventually things do start to collapse there, if they do start to collapse there. So if there's a Trump presidency, I'd imagine he wants to get the pain out the way very quickly. If this is indeed a problem, I'm not clued up on US banks. I'm not American. I don't care. I don't care for banks anyway. Like, don't really hold any money in any banks. So whatever. But yeah, that will cause a lot of pain. A lot of pain. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Logic mindset. Every day you give. No, I don't. No, I don't. I do not give any. I give an opinion on the market. There is no advice. I give an opinion. And my opinion may be wrong sometimes. Not often. Not often. But my opinion may sometimes be wrong. And it's up to you guys to interpret my opinion and to make your own decisions based off of that, maybe. Daily open below previous day value area low. 2 times 30-minute candle closures inside previous day value area. Is that a long setup? It could be. Yes, it could be. Adicha, to buy or a sell. At the moment, it's a nothing. It's a sit on your hands, do nothing. We're in the middle of the range. Await further information. Await more data. We don't really have any data to take a trade from this morning because what has it been doing this morning? This. Wait, that's the wrong way. I've got to do the reverse. This. That's all we've been doing so far. So we can't really trade based off of that data because it's just sideways. If we don't want to use prop firms, is there an exchange that you'd recommend for NQ trading and perhaps crypto trading too? I don't know. I mean, individual brokerage accounts and things like that. Like, I mean, yeah. There's many of them. I don't have any opinions on them. I know there are some crypto exchanges that offer stock, like pegged stock products and pegged like NQ products and things like that. But yeah, they're not something I use. I do use the prop firms for trading Nasdaq. That's just what I like to use. And I think maybe at some point I may create an account or something to start trading them a bit more, so I can hold trades for a little bit longer, and I can do that kind of thing. But no, not particularly. I don't have any. I don't have any particular opinions on those. I saw another question that was up here as well about. There we go. Yeah, do you scalp NQ or do you prefer to swing trade the NQ? So I only scalp the NQ, scalp/day trade. The reason for that, I can't swing trade, so my positions will get closed when the CME market's closed. So I am unable to hold positions on the NQ, but that's okay because you just adapt to that, and then you just scalp and you take short-term trades and take a few of them a day, and it can maybe pay. Okay. Cakes just started using a live Ninja trading account for NQ. Nice. Yeah, so that might be something to look into. It's not something I've really done. I did have an account. I did have like a personal broker account. I can't remember. This was before I started using prop firms more. I can't remember what it was, and it was using like MT4 as a platform, and it's horrible, man. It's horrible. It gave it, Che Luke, not a Bitcoin question, but recently my wife has gone on a skiing trip with her best friend in Hokkaido. Her best friend is a man. Should I be worried? Is it a gay best friend that's a man? But yeah, I would. Ooh, there's a subscriber. Thank you for whoever that was that subscribed. I don't know why my alert box is not working. Um, Still, annoyingly. But I heard the noise. Cake says she's going to handle a ski pole all day. Probably. Probably. He's an alpha male. Oh, man. Yeah, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, Gabe. And so is Bitcoin. You are in as much trouble right now as Bitcoin is. I'm going to upload that daily update vid. Let's get that uploaded so that people can watch it. Videos, upload video. How is it 20 minutes long? There was nothing to say. Yeah, somehow I spoke for 20 minutes about Bitcoin when it's flat and doing nothing. How is that possible, guys? Do I really waffle on that much? What do I want? This reuse and upload thumbnail. Bitcoin. It's kind of one of those videos. There's not a lot on it. Bitcoin market update. BTC looking weak. Can it hold? Howdy. Usually the sentiment for my video updates, because of course the video updates itself. I mean, unless I'm very, very clear on the plan, because usually the sentiment's okay. Bitcoin looks for massive explosion. Will that be better? Will that get more clicks? Bitcoin's got a pump here to 100K. Nah, I think I'll call it that. I can always change the title of the video later. Or something. I don't know. Add suitability. Yes, that's fine. Video elements checks. Visibility. Make it public once it has uploaded. And then on X, I would like to also upload this video on X. And then we have this over here. I'm just doing my little thingy. Doing my little thingy. Make it high quality. There we go. Get that ready to post. There's the stream. Get that ready to post. And then we can post. So if anyone has missed the Bitcoin update, then you can rewatch once that is uploaded. Joseph S. I hope that comment was aimed at Gabe. Can you check Bake? Whimsy, yes. Waffle wisdom. Bitcoin is going to make melt faces today. Yeah. We hope so. We do hope so, but it's probably not, is it? Check Jamsy. Melt to downside, yeah. Absolutely. All right. What else can we look at? I'm not looking at Ethereum right now because Ethereum's been a bad boy. However, we are bouncing again. Oh, it is bouncing again quite nicely. But yeah, that trade didn't work out. CPI, FOMC. Of course, that's not our daily open. ETH up, BTC sideways. ETH's looking better, actually. ETH is looking better. Oh, my eyes. Next pivot is important liquidity, yeah. Gosh. Let's publish both of these. Okay, they're both uploaded. Post. Publish. Videos. Done. What do you think about prelim consumer sentiment and inflation expectations? They are. So that's happening at 3 p.m. today. So I remember this. Let's have a look at this. So the consumer sentiment stuff. Was this the one where there was a massive dump last month? Because oh no, it beat this. So consumer sentiment ended up beating expectations in the end. No, 67 point. Actual was higher. No. Oh, actual was lower. Yeah, okay. All right, this is the thing. So last month, this was when there was a big dump, right? Because the consumer sentiment ended up being really bad. I think this is the one. Forecast. Yes, yeah, there we go. Look. It was forecast to be 76.3 and it came in at 67.4. So what they've given now, I don't know why this previous is saying this. Oh, right, because that was the adjusted one that was afterwards. So it then got adjusted a little bit higher. The forecast one was the prelim one was a little bit lower. I understand it now. So yeah, this the market did react really, really, really badly to this data last month, and yeah, I mean, if we have another situation today, because it's forecast to come in at 72. So they're expecting that consumer sentiment to be fairly low. Of course, in May, they forecast that to be 76. In April, they forecast it to be 79. In March, they forecasted it to be 77. So it's been in that 70, high 70s range. And they're forecasting that into that low 70s now. So if, right, we have seen from the data that inflation is coming down. We saw that from PPI yesterday. Okay, inflation is coming down. We saw that from CPI. Inflation is coming down, or at least it's flat, which is, I mean, pretty good for risk assets. Not for Bitcoin, clearly, but pretty good for risk assets overall. And yeah, I mean, if this can beat, let's say we have consumer sentiment and it comes in at like 74, 75, that may be just the catalyst that we need to get a bit of a push here. But if we do end up seeing a situation where it misses by 10 points like it did last time, that would not be good, right? That would be very, very bad. So I've never really watched this before. It was last month that I was like, oh my god, where is this like massive crash come from? And we can look on the charts here, because so it was on the 10th of May, right? That's a nice reaction there off of the NQ. Managing to hold on this occasion. All right. This was on the 10th of May. Over here, right? It seems small. But at the time, it was a big move. 10th of May here, right? Yeah, look at that. You just made a high, and then this consumer sentiment came in and bang, like big drop. And this was on the NQ. I don't really think it corresponded to Bitcoin too much. So if we go back on Bitcoin, 10th of May, oh no, it did. Yeah, it did. So Bitcoin got that even bigger drop, right? That's when we had that test back into what was the monthly open then. So we had that reversal, and then we had really similar price action to what we're seeing right now at that same point. And yeah, we had that move down. It came all the way back down to take out what was the previous day low at that stage, held like we're doing now, right? Very similar kind of price action. You have a move up that's immediately retraced. You then just grinding, a move up that's immediately retraced. And then we got that reversal. So if we do compare that to what we had previously, okay, what have we seen is a move up that's immediately retraced, and we are just grinding. But of course, what happened here was this was the consumer sentiment day, whereas on this occasion, this is the FOMC day. Do we see some positive data with the market not really watching this stuff, right? Everyone's focused on CPI, everybody's focused on FOMC, everyone's focused on PPI. And of course, there's unemployment claims and that kind of thing as well. But with everybody focused on that, could the results of some random survey that only surveys like 100 people, 500 people, the survey of 500 people, is that actually going to move the market today? Well, it did last time. So, yeah, we shall see if it does it again. And if on this occasion maybe it comes in better than expected and we see a big recovery, that could be the catalyst. Could be. Could be. Look, why do I look yellow on the screen? Give us your guess, pump or dump. Uh, uh, uh um, I'm going to say, so if I look at this, right, and they're forecasting it lower than previously. However, we have had rather positive data coming out of the US this week. Where do they take University of Michigan? So it's done by the University of Michigan. I don't know. I was going to say if they're asking people from California, Californians are probably going to be like quite like our economy sucks right now, whereas other places may be a little bit more neutral. But yeah, if they're forecasting it low, it does have the potential to beat that by a few points, in which case we could get a bit of a bounce. Now, if they're forecasting it low and if it still misses, that's bad because they're already expecting it to be kind of like meh, not very good. So I guess they're maybe pricing that in. Yeah. But I'm not a macro economist. I'm not going to pretend I know anything about that stuff. I'm really liking the look of the NQ for a bounce here, by the way. That looks super duper for a bounce. Like, just keep it very, very simple. Missed the opportunity to get in here. But when we see what the NQ's done today, and then you've broken that aggression, having changed market structure here for the first time, right? So this is the first time since, I mean, this whole session that we've had that change in market structure. Because there's a high that took the low, reverse, hold. You could like bid down here, get a decent setup. Looking at those those lows. First point in which you could say that there is a potential reversal here on NQ. I'm going to look at alts and crypto again in a minute. I'm considering just taking a trade. On the other hand here, okay, we are still in this bigger downtrend. And then this could be seen as a deviation and then you're looking lower. Let's just watch this for a moment. Cookie Monster, do you think we're bouncing on the NQ and the ES? 15-minute candle seems to say so. Yeah, I mean, this could be a little bit of a bouncy territory here. You got to be careful on it because it has just been bleeding this morning. But you're into a good area, so 15-minute. Not sure if I'm going to get an entry. I wouldn't have wanted to enter within here. I want it to go down here because, like, if you're going to get a good R off of this, you got to get a good entry off of it too. You know what? I'm just going to place a limit order down here. Just see what happens, right? See how it goes. Limit buy. 19,540. Limit buy. Stick it in the middle of this little gap that we got here. Stop at the low. It's about the only real trade I see on this at the moment. The other thing you can, of course, be doing, I mean, realistically, you could be shorting this still for lower because you have better opportunity might come later on today on this. Because actually, yeah, that one was looking kind of better right now because you can continue that trend. I mean, even if you're just getting this, you got more than what you get off of a long right now. I don't know, man. There's no clear setup here. Like, I know technically, yeah, you've got a bit of a recovery there on the 3 minute. You got it on the 1 minute, but then you took the lows again anyway, so. BTC hanging out at the value area low from the range at May 16th. It's dead. It is dead. It is dead. Yeah. It's just, I mean, yeah, like I say, we're just right in the middle of this range. Where are we from value area if we go here upwards? And then where are we if we do take this from, you say May 16? You're grabbing this pivot. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Luke, how significant is the PPI? What? Are you talking about the ski instructor guy again? Please look at Jasmine. No. Why? If you super chat me, I'll look at Jasmine. I'm gonna be, because that's how many times have you asked for that? Jasmine massive double bottom and W pattern on the 1 hour. Okay, I'll look at Jasmine. Whatever. Someone's asked about this before. Jasmine. I mean, at least it's up. Most of the markets are not up. Um. I don't know if I share your bullishness. If I'm honest. I do not know if I share that bullishness. But today it's done okay. But would you not be looking down here? So you're taking internal lows, but you've not really. I mean, it's consolidated. It's almost like. Yeah, I don't know about that. You had a lot of weakness on the 4 hour. You had those those RSI divergences that were put in. And you would have to say that you're looking likely that it pulls back a little bit more than this. There's a couple of areas that would look interesting here. Like three little gaps on the chart there. And then in between that, okay, you got volume. So when you've got this move up, do you have like anchored VWAP from anywhere around? Okay, there's that. So when you really started to push, which was here, you had this long range, and then it was like T-WAPing, boom, up, and holding this anchor VWAP. Okay, it's a decent chart in which to share. But again, I don't see a trade that's here now. I mean, if you were going to trade this, you'd either wait for it to sweep these lows, or you'd wait for some strength and to see support start to curve back up, and then you can look for longs here using these as invalidation. But where it is right now, it is just, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising just to see this consolidate like a lot of stuff looks like it's going to do at the moment. So that's probably what I would say about that. I saw your Doge post on Twitter. What do you think? Dog, the one from Runes, or Doge, or both? I love both. I own Dog and I own Doge. And I own quite significant amounts of both. So Dog, I like it. I like it. I hope I haven't missed the opportunity to take profit. I'm looking at like a big move here. So I'm in Dog. I'm in Dog from down here. So from 0.002 cents is where I bought my Dog. And I like it. I like it. The chart is, I mean, hard to say because we've got a good narrative here with Dog, and I think with Runes in general. I'm betting on the Bitcoin ecosystem stuff right now. Just overall. So I own some Runes, I own Dog, and I own Waddle Pengu, which doesn't have a chart, but I own some of that as well. And then, of course, with the altcoins, I do have a liking at the moment towards Bitcoin ecosystem alts, stacks, ordinals. They've been some of the ones that have been performing whilst the rest of the market's just been very, very dead. So STX, USDT, this has given, like, again, we're getting real good opportunities for trades here. So we're in the right kind of area to be looking at longs on this, for example. So yeah, I'm betting on these Bitcoin ecosystem plays right now as being the ones that we can see some kind of performance from. We just we need some kind of performance from them. And what the other one was Audi USDT.P, which unfortunately I had compounded this trade up here and it's gone down lower, but I still think overall is looking okay. We can look a little bit more on this. Is looking acceptable, but I would have liked for it to have held up here. The whole market's just bleeding. So we're back within this range again now, back within value area. Oh dear. Hey, at least with ordinals, we had some real good take profits along the way on that. So this trade in particular, the one that we did have, has done really well. I have compounded that. The last remaining bit of my position may need to be like a close at break even kind of situation, but yeah, these are some of the alts that I think have potential to do something. You got like a nice, so on the daily, is this, when did this, oh, it is Audi USDT. You do have, so this Woo chart, was this around before? No, it's not. So that 200 EMA, it looks quite interesting here. The fact this is holding this, and this is the first time it's really tested it since it's been around. Interesting. Interesting. Value area low of this whole range. Okay. Yeah, I know no one asked me about Audi, but I'm asking myself about Audi. So there you go. I'm not so concerned about this anymore, seeing where this is at. This is cool. Even Nasdaq's flat now. What's going on? But yeah, the other one you asked about Doge. Doge. Ah man, this was from yesterday's stream. So sorry, G. Probably will never ever return to one of my streams again. But this was a comment that was this is a comment that was made on yesterday's stream. From G saying Doge PA similar to its top in May 2021. Starts bouncing. Oh, I've just been filled on that Nasdaq long. Just been filled here. Let's see if that was a good idea or not. Oh dear. Because there is the short setup that's here as well. Remember, I was saying you could be in this. I'll get back to that Doge tweet or that Doge comment in just a second. I'm not going to stay in this trade if it does not start bouncing quickly. I'll just close out of this. It was one of those little play ones. Going to give me an opportunity to get out of this with profit. So I'm basically I'm long, but I don't particularly know where this will end up right now. Let's just go for it. Aim for the highs, whatever. Is the trade. Okay. It's a single contract as well, so I can't take partials. What to do? You know what? I'm sticking a stop loss on that low, which means that worst case scenario, I lose $100. And let's just see where this goes. Because if it's going to bounce from here, it's going to bounce from here, right? It's not going to come back down. If you come down and take these lows again, then effectively this whole setup's wrong. Because if you start closing down here, you're going to take the lows anyway, and then this other option of a trade will have played out. I will probably end up closing it if it just takes out these highs. That's a 5R. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. Hanging on in there. NQ hit your stop loss. What were you? What for? What for? What trade? Stopped. It's gonna bounce now, isn't it? It's gonna bounce. I should have just kept my stop down here, but I'm not particularly confident in this trade anyway. So yeah, yeah. That was the long. That was the short. The stop. So it's a six tick loss, which was $100. So that's fine. Good job. I took it. I wouldn't. I wouldn't still want to be holding this trade right now. Shorts are still paying. And if I had kept my stop all the way down here, then I would have lost like 300. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like the right decision was made to make sure I was not risking anything. One of those trades that just wasn't particularly likely. You're still in a big old downtrend, and this just looking like a bit of a rollover. Continue going down. And then what do we have to look at is the previous day low down here. PDL is the next level of interest. And then we do have a big old gap down here. So this is where we're looking next. Anyway, yeah, back to Doge. So this was the G. So the Doge PA is similar to the top in May 2021. So I was bouncing off the weekly 8-12 EMA, then bounce off the 34 EMA. Why are you looking at an 8, a 12, and a 34? I don't know. Who the hell uses those EMAs? Then he said like last distribution and then lights off. And I tweeted this afterwards. Right. I had a bit of fun with it. But basically sentiment today is well and truly in the dirt. Blah, blah. I think the Doge is the most loved. The most loved asset in crypto, is going to go through a 600-day accumulation, only to distribute and go back down to the lows again after the first break. Get out of here! No, of course it's not. We're fine. Yeah, Doge is looking good. I like it. I like where it's at. But I just had to. I had to use that. I had to use that yesterday because this guy's saying this when we're literally right here. So Detach guy, hey man, heard of Moolah? No, I haven't, and I do not care. What the hell is the Nasdaq doing, man? Gosh, it's 12 o'clock already. I need to go and have some lunch. Yeah. This is very, very nothing going on kind of day. So I'm gonna call it there. I'm going to wrap it up. It's a Friday, time to chill, do a little bit of other work and stuff, see what happens later on. Be aware, okay, we do have news. We do have some news coming up. Whether that is going to move the market, we'll have to wait and see. But I actually need to adjust this. Because I've got my chart on UTC, whereas this should be coming in here. Oh no, it's okay. We're fine. Yeah, because it will be 2 UTC. So yeah, there is some news coming up a little bit later on. We'll see if that gets some kind of move and see which way that might be. But on that note, yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. Don't worry too much about this price action. The hard mode will eventually disappear. We'll be back into much easier place to trade from, and yeah, the conditions will improve at some point. But we just got to ride this out. Got to remain patient, and just got to take the trades. Look, there goes Nasdaq again. Got to take good trades when they come to you, and just anything else. If you're holding spot, nothing you can really do here. And yeah, just see what happens. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you bright and early. That's your news, okay? I spoke about this earlier on. That's your news. All right, consumer sentiment coming out 3 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. UTC. Yeah, I'll see you bright and early on Monday morning. And yeah,